I was betrayed, ridiculed, and turned into a punchline at our anniversary dinner. So I quietly dismantled everything. The moment I met Isabella Reed 3 years ago is etched in my memory, sharp as a blade. My life was a wreck back then. My apartment had become a swamp after the upstairs neighbor, some careless fool, left their sink running. Water flooded my ceiling, soaking everything, forcing me to crash at my best friend Ethan's place while repairs dragged on. That's when she stormed into my world, Isabella, Ethan's younger sister. I was slumped on his worn couch, sipping a cheap beer, drowning in self-pity, when she burst through the door. She was stunning. Golden hair that shimmered, amber eyes that seemed to hold secrets, and a fearless smile that hit me like a shockwave. She didn't just enter a room, she dominated it. "You must be the flood refugee," she teased, her voice playful yet warm. I laughed despite myself. She dropped onto the couch beside me, closer than needed, and started asking about my ruined apartment, my job, my life, like she genuinely cared. We clicked instantly. Within days, we were texting nonstop, and by month's end, we were together. Isabella had an electric aura, a magnetism that pulled people in. At parties, she was the sun, laughing, weaving stories, her hands dancing as she spoke. Men hovered with drinks, women clung to her words. I'd watch from the sidelines, proud she was mine, but a shadow of doubt crept in. "She's just charismatic," I told myself. "She loves the attention, but she's with me." To the world, we were perfect. Me, the reliable guy with a steady job. Her, the dazzling woman who ignited every space. I'd take her to upscale restaurants, hold her hand, and feel like I'd won the lottery. She'd lean in, whisper something clever, and I'd think, this is what people chase. But a quiet voice in my head questioned her need for every eye on her. I ignored it. Love blinds you like that. The early months were a rush of excitement. She'd show up at my repaired apartment with takeout and wine, and we'd talk until sunrise. Her charm was effortless, making me feel like her entire universe. But looking back, I see the cracks. She'd flirt with waiters in front of me, laughing off my frowns. "Relax, babe, it's just fun," she'd say, and I'd let it go. She'd ditch plans last minute, leaving me waiting, only to disarm me with that smile. I told myself it was fine. She was vibrant, spontaneous, the opposite of predictable old me. I thought I loved that about her. Friends raved about how lucky I was, how Isabella was one in a million. I'd grin and nod because, yeah, she was. But that magnetism wasn't just for me, it was for everyone. Deep down, I knew it from the start. I'd lie awake, her soft breathing beside me, wondering if I could ever satisfy someone like her. She was always chasing something, admiration, thrills, the next high. I was just me, dependable, practical, the guy who paid bills early. But when she'd roll over, sling an arm across me, I'd silence those doubts. She chose me, I'd think. Out of everyone, she's here. For a while, that held me together. 3 years ago, I thought Isabella was my future. I thought I knew her infectious laugh, her quirks, the way her eyes sparked when she spoke passionately. But now I see I never truly knew her. I saw what I wanted, and that was my first mistake. The signs were screaming from the beginning, but I was too smitten to listen. Isabella treated my time like it was worthless, like I was just a guy orbiting her schedule. Our first real date, I sat at a quaint Spanish tapas bar, checking my watch obsessively. I'd arrived early, nervous but eager, in a shirt I'd pressed just for her. She was due at 6:30, but by 7:30, no sign. Texts went unanswered, calls rang out. At 8 o'clock, she strolled in, hair messy like she'd just woken up, grinning like it was nothing. "Sorry, babe, got caught up with Chloe," she said, sliding into her seat. I wanted to be mad, but she squeezed my hand, launched into a story, and I melted. Love means compromise, I told myself, sipping my sangria. But it wasn't a one-time thing. She was late for everything. Dinners, concerts, even my birthday. I'd wait, feeling like an idiot, but forgive her because losing her scared me more. Then there was her job situation, a blazing red flag I ignored. Isabella worked in PR or tried to. She'd land a role, gush about the creative energy, then quit or get fired within months. She'd come home ranting about her incompetent boss or jealous coworkers. "They're all morons," she'd snap, tossing her hair. I'd listen, suggest she stick it out, only for her to scoff. "You don't understand," she'd bite, and I'd back off. Once she got sacked for missing a critical press release. She blamed her team, saying they sabotaged her. I wanted to question it, but didn't. I just paid her half of the rent when she couldn't cover it. Worst of all was how she talked about people. Her texts were vicious, shredding everyone. Her best friend, Chloe. A desperate clinger who envies me. Her parents? Lazy nobodies who never amounted to anything. Coworkers, strangers. She had a cruel jab for them all. I'd read her messages at night, unease knotting my stomach, telling myself she was just venting. But I saw her hug Chloe like a sister one day, then savage her to me the next. She wore two faces, one for the world, one for when she thought no one was listening. I should have realized she likely trashed me behind my back too. The thought hit me sometimes, but I'd push it away. She loves me, I'd think. She wouldn't do that. I was blind, wasn't I? All those signs, her flakiness, her job hopping, her venom, they screamed for me to wake up, but I stayed asleep, captivated by her. By year 2, Isabella's lifestyle was draining me, and I was complicit in letting it happen. She craved extravagance, designer bags with names I couldn't pronounce, dinners at restaurants without price tags, last-minute trips to tropical beaches. At first, it was thrilling, like I was part of her glamorous orbit. But the bills piled up, and I was the one paying. My job was solid, enough for basics, but Isabella's money vanished on impulse buys. She'd bat her eyes and say, "Babe, can you cover this? I'll get you back." I always said yes, telling myself she'd figure it out. She never did. Then came the car debacle where I should have drawn a line. Isabella was obsessed with a gleaming BMW 3 Series, showing me photos, her voice dreamy. "It's not just a car, it's a statement." When her old junker died, she called me, sobbing, stranded in a storm. I suggested a reliable used car, but she fixated on the BMW. At the dealership, she caressed the hood, beaming. "This is it." The price was obscene, beyond her reach and my comfort. But she pleaded, "I need this to feel alive. You want me happy, right?" Her voice softened and I caved. Her credit was shot, so I co-signed the loan and started covering payments when her new gig fell short. "I'll handle it soon," she swore, sipping coffee at our tiny table. I nodded, believing her, even as my bank account bled. It wasn't just the money, it was her entitlement, like I owed her this life. She'd come home with a $1,000 purse, laughing off my questions. "It's an investment, babe." "In what?" She never explained. I cut back on my own life, packing lunches, skipping new clothes, while she posted Instagram shots posing with her BMW or sipping cocktails at rooftop bars. Friends commented, "Goals," and I felt pride mixed with panic. I was drowning to keep her afloat. I told myself it was love, but each time I swiped my card for her, I lost a piece of myself. Our 3rd anniversary was supposed to be a turning point, a night to celebrate us. I'd planned it for weeks, booking a table at Lumiere, a posh spot Isabella had raved about. I saved up, got a fresh haircut, and wore the navy suit she'd once called irresistible. I arrived on time, nerves buzzing, picturing her reaction to my effort. The host sat me at a prime table with a city view, and I waited, heart light. Half an hour passed, she didn't show. I texted, "You on your way?" No reply. She's always late, I thought, sipping water. The waiter hovered. I waved him off, saying, "She's almost here." An hour later, nothing. Calls went to voicemail, her chipper greeting taunting me. My chest tightened, but I stayed, clinging to hope. The staff's pitying glances stung. I should have left, but I sat, refusing to admit defeat. 3 hours late, the doors swung open. Isabella strutted in, not alone, but with three loud friends, all tipsy, giggling like they'd come from a bar. She spotted me, gave a lazy wave, and sauntered over with her crew. "Hey, babe," she said, dropping into the chair like she hadn't left me hanging. Her friends, some guy Lucas, a girl with purple hair, and another I didn't know, dragged chairs over, crowding our table. "You're late," I managed. She shrugged. "We hit a lounge first, lost track of time." I stared, speechless, as she leaned back, smirking, and announced to the room, "Told you he'd wait like a trained puppy." Her friends erupted in laughter, a sharp, cruel sound that cut through me. Lucas, with a smug grin, added, "Damn, she wasn't kidding. You're whipped." The purple-haired girl snorted and the other cackled. I sat frozen, hands clenched, every eye in the restaurant on us. Isabella laughed, tossing her hair, basking in her cruelty. In that moment I saw her clearly, not careless but malicious. She'd turned our anniversary into her stage, and I was the fool. I didn't react to Isabella's trained puppy jab. No outburst, no scene. Her friend's laughter echoed, and she sipped a drink Lucas bought her, grinning like she'd won. Shame burned my neck, but I stayed calm. The waiter approached, hesitant. I gave a tight smile and ordered a whiskey, voice steady. Inside, I was unraveling. Why am I here taking this? They ordered appetizers, caviar truffle toast, ignoring me, Isabella barely glancing my way, too busy posing for the purple-haired girl's phone. I sipped my drink, the burn grounding me, and realized this wasn't love. It never was. She'd made me a prop in her show, and I was done. When they were distracted, arguing over the last bite, I stood, said, "Back in a sec," and walked toward the restroom. My pulse raced, but I kept steady, bypassing the bathroom, slipping through the kitchen past a puzzled cook, and out the back door into the night. The city hummed softly. I didn't look back. I called Ethan, who answered groggily. "Pick me up in 10, I said, giving him a nearby corner. "You okay?" he asked. "Just come," I replied. He didn't push. I leaned against a wall, blocked Isabella's number with one tap, and felt a weight lift. Ethan's truck pulled up, and I climbed in. "What's up?" he asked. "Not now," I said, staring out as the city blurred by. I wasn't free yet, but I'd taken the first step. In Ethan's truck, my mind churned. Isabella's mockery, her lies, the years I'd bankrolled her, it fueled me. I wouldn't just fade away. She'd built her empire on my sacrifices, and I'd tear it down quietly, ruthlessly. At home, I sat in the dark, her laughter replaying, and vowed to strike back. I grabbed a beer and started digging into everything I could access, her accounts, her secrets. It wasn't about confrontation, it was about precision, hitting where she'd feel it most. First, her BMW. I'd co-signed the loan and covered payments like a fool. I logged into my bank, canceled the $1,800 monthly auto pay, and called the 24-hour line. "I'm reporting coercion," I said, explaining how she'd pressured me into paying. The agent flagged it, and by morning her payment would fail, inching the car toward repossession. I smirked, picturing her panic when the tow truck arrived. Next, I combed through her old voicemails, rants she'd sent me, trashing everyone. One called her boss a spineless creep. Another mocked Chloe as a pathetic wannabe. I saved them in a folder, Isabella's Truth. Then her work email, still logged into my laptop. I found messages where she badmouthed her boss and bragged about slacking plus shady side hustle emails. I screenshotted it all, my pulse quickening. This was my arsenal. By morning, Isabella was unraveling. My phone lit up with dozens of missed calls and texts from burner numbers. "Babe, why's the car payment off? Call me." I ignored them, savoring her desperation. I sent a voicemail, her calling her boss a spineless creep, to a coworker, accidentally CCing her boss. By midday, she texted, "I got fired. What's wrong with you?" I pictured her raging, her perfect facade cracking. I didn't reply. Next, I emailed her parents, kind folks who'd welcome me, attaching her voicemail calling them worthless failures. Later, she texted, "My parents won't speak to me. You're sick." I deleted it, feeling power return. The car was the final blow. The bank confirmed repossession was imminent. She texted, "They're taking the BMW. Please, I need it." I didn't respond. Her world was crumbling, and I was just starting. The next day, I purged Isabella's presence from my apartment. Her designer bags, dresses, and perfumes cluttered my space, mocking me. I grabbed trash bags and tossed it all in. 1,500 purses, heels, makeup, fueled by anger. I didn't care about their value. They were hers, and she was poison. I loaded the bags into my truck and drove to the landfill, the air thick with decay. I hurled each bag into the heap, watching them split, her belongings sinking into filth. A perfume bottle shattered, its scent lost in the rot. It felt right. Her things belonged here. By evening, Isabella called, hysterical. "My stuff's gone. What did you do?" I deleted her voicemail, having changed my locks that morning. She texted, "You're a monster." I erased it. She'd made me this way, step by step, with every betrayal. Within a week, her life collapsed. No job, no car, no savings, no family. Ethan called, saying she was crashing on Lucas's couch, begging him to mediate. He refused. "She's a disaster. She's got to face it." Her parents cut her off. The BMW was gone. Her friends vanished. I canceled our shared accounts, redecorated my place, and started running, feeling lighter daily. Months later, an email from Isabella arrived. "I don't know why you're doing this. You're overreacting. I miss you." No apology, just manipulation. I read it, anger mixing with indifference. My life was mine again. Better job, nights out with Ethan, no more bailing her out. I considered replying, spilling everything, but stopped. She'd never listen. I deleted the email, ate my cereal, and went for a run. She was the past, and I was done. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I finally did, and I wasn't going back.